We'll begin with Mr. Siegel.
Thank you, and thank you to the League of Women Voters. This debate is an opportunity for residents of the 4th Ward to evaluate the candidates' visions, their records, and their desire for the future. When I was elected in 2008, I promised to work for government that is open and transparent, that's responsive, that's fiscally responsible, and focuses on saving money without reducing or eliminating services. I also promised to improve the township's aging infrastructure, to visit and communicate with residents, and to work with businesses and others. They all had one common goal: to allow residents to know what we do as commissioners so that they can evaluate how well we do it. 1 year later, voters can see the results. I've created a highly informative website. There are frequent and timely communications, including print and email newsletters. I answer every phone call, every letter, and every email. My newsletters focus on 4th Ward events and issues and concerns. My email newsletter goes to hundreds of residents with timely information, and I have now visited 98% of the residents in the ward. I've also worked with the township to save money without cutting services, using technology to be more efficient while reducing the use and cost of paper and postage. And I've continued my long-standing commitment to community revitalization, traffic improvement, and other concerns. But equally important as a commissioner is the need to successfully build coalitions, because township issues are not political. They're local and they're personal. They're trash, they're recycling, they're leaf collection, they're tree trimming, and they're traffic. And I've done so with one vision: so that Haverford Township can be better, so that Haverford Township can be a place that businesses and families want to locate. Last year, I asked you to vote for me based on my experience and my vision. This year, I ask you to re-elect me to a full term so that we can continue the journey and work together to make Haverford Township an even finer community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Williamson.
Thank you. Thank you to the League, to the audience, and to my fellow commissioners and commissioner candidates. My name is John Williamson, for those who don't know me. I came to Havertown in 1960, moved into the 4th Ward in 1962, lived on Sewell Drive there. I'm the third of 8 children of Harold and Florence Williamson. My mom still lives up there on Sewell Drive. I went to Sacred Heart School for a few years and then transferred to St. Pius, where I graduated from. I went to Cardinal O'Hara, graduated in '71. 3 years later, I got a degree in economics, and 3 years after that, I got a law degree from Seattle University. And I've been practicing law ever since. And in fact, the last 7 years, my office has been at the corner of Lawrence and Eagle Road, also in the 4th Ward. I grew up here in Havertown, and my father coached me on the same baseball fields where I later coached my 3 children. My plan as commissioner is 4 things. Number 1, protect families, children, and senior citizens. Those who cannot protect themselves need our protection. Number 2, stop billboards. Very few of the people in my ward or in the Haverford Township want to live near huge billboards. Number 3, solve traffic congestion. There are several ways to solve the problems that we have, particularly at Darby and Eagle Road, but even more importantly at Florence Road and Westchester Pike. And finally, hold the line on taxes. We don't need a tax increase every year, particularly at this time we're in the midst of recession. Senior citizens on fixed incomes cannot afford to stay in their homes. Families who have workers who are unemployed are struggling. We have to hold the line on taxes.
Thank you. They wanted to know if you fully fund the library and contribute to the library pension funds, and the library currently owes the township $80,000 to cover pension benefits for its employees. Do you support forgiveness of this debt? Mr. Williamson?
Could you repeat that question? I'm having a little trouble hearing you over here.
Oh, okay. The library currently owes the township $80,000 to cover pension benefits for its employees. Do you support forgiving this debt?
I really don't know. This is the first time this thought ever came to me. I really don't know enough about the situation. It's the first time I've ever heard that. But let me just make it clear. I think it's important to have a good library in Haverford Township. And by the same token, I think it's a good thing to have low taxes in Haverford Township. Somehow we've got to combine the two of them in a thoughtful process. But I'm all for libraries. I'm all for keeping taxes low. But I really don't have the answer to that question.
Okay, Mr. Siegel?
Thank you. Well, I agree that we have to listen to the professionals in terms of what we do in terms of the MMOs that are in the press. But there's a larger question that's going to be facing the township and the commissioners this year with our budget. The library is facing a shortfall because funding sources are down. The library is also vital to our township because unlike neighboring communities that have multiple libraries like Lower Merion, we only have one. And we need to make certain that the library is an important resource that makes people want to move into the township. That said, we also have to factor in other issues, revenues, and everything else. We need to be committed to the library because it serves so many vital functions. And I disagree. I think libraries will adapt as they have, and I think that if we can find the resources for the library, it will be a better asset to the township. But we do have to rely on the professional support. But I'm committed to a library. I think it's absolutely critical for our community.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to traffic, and we start with Mr. Hopkins. What have you done, or what would you do to improve the traffic situation at Haverford? Okay. Our next question is communication. And what importance do you give to continuing communicating with your constituents? In that regard, what have you done since your election or during your campaign to demonstrate the importance you place on communication? Mr. Siegel.
Thank you. Communication has literally been the hallmark